Jai Gurudev. Chalo. Page 260. Who wants to start?
I can start.
Okay.
When a child is playing with charcoal, his hands become black. If he washes his hands but immediately plays again with charcoal, his hands become black again. However, if he does not handle charcoal again after washing, his hands can remain clean. Even so, if one inquires into the nature of the self and at the same time refrains from those actions which promote avidya or ignorance, the darkness of ignorance vanishes. However, it is only the self that becomes aware of the self.
So this is a repetition. He's given this example before, about the charcoal. So you cannot say, oh, I have meditated so many months, so many days, now I can sin. No. This is one concept I didn't explain to you. People have this thing that if I do one good karma and I do one bad karma, they will cancel each other out. It does not work like that, okay? If you're thinking like this. You will get the good merit of the good karma, equivalent merit, and you will get the bad merit of the bad karma. They are not going to cancel each other out. So don't start thinking, oh, if I meditate, whatever negative thing I'm doing on the side, that is washed away or that is erased. Yeah? This is a very wrong understanding people have. Karmas do not cancel each other. Just because I've shown it as a positive and negative sign in the karma bag, people started thinking and asked me a question. Oh, that means 1 plus and 1 minus. I'm good. I'm at 0. I said, no, you're not. Yes, so that's why I thought I better clarify this here. That's exactly what he's saying. If you dirty your hands with charcoal, you're going to get dirty. How much ever you clean with meditation, with knowledge, but if you keep indulging in the same negativity again and again, you are at square one. You have not progressed. Are you seeing this? It doesn't matter how much you meditate, how much knowledge you do. If every day in office you're playing the same politics, if every day you are doing something negative, you are at square one. That is one major reason why people meditate and are on the spiritual path for a long time but do not experience a major shift inside themselves. So check. Time for you to check. Homework number 1. 3 years, 4 years, some of you 5 years, continuous knowledge. Have you progressed? Or are you the same person exactly where you were 5 years ago or 3 years ago, wherever you began? Do you see even a little bit of change? Is your meditation calmer? Are you experiencing that peace in life outside? At work, with family, even in the middle of a big fight? Is there a difference in the way this person reacts today to a very difficult situation like a fight compared to how this person reacted 5 years ago? You see, time for some self-introspection. If there is no change or very little change, if you've been 5 years and just a little bit of change, then something is wrong. It's not proportional. Then you are playing with charcoal. Noted? So homework number 1 has part 1 and part 2. Part 1 will be the recognition whether there is a shift in my consciousness or not. Has there been a change because of the knowledge and meditation? And the part 2, if there is very little change or no change, identify what is that charcoal you are playing with continuously. It could be so many things. It could be different things for different people. Yeah, somebody's caught up in money, somebody's caught up in name, fame in office, somebody's caught up in politics. Yeah, politics in any organization, not just your office politics, even social organizations. Yeah. So you could be caught up in so many things where you are still playing with charcoal every now and then and spoiling all your efforts. वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना, पानी फेर देना. That's what we could be doing. Find your charcoal. What is it? Yeah, ठीक है? When a child is playing with charcoal, his hands become black. If he washes his hands but immediately plays again with charcoal, his hands become black again. However, if he does not handle charcoal again after washing, his hands can remain clean. That's the most important point there. He's telling you not to handle your charcoal again. Do you understand what he means? It's like literally giving up something that you're you have so much raga or dvesha to, because obviously that is your charcoal. He's telling you to not handle it again. Yeah, he's very direct. Even so, if one inquires into the nature of the self and at the same time refrains from those actions which promote avidya or ignorance, the darkness of ignorance vanishes. However, it is only the self that becomes aware of the self. Yeah. When you go deeper into meditation, who is going deeper? Who is becoming one with the silence? You come to a point where there is no distinguishing factor between silence and you. A merging happens. There is no thought that, oh, I have experienced that silence. There is no I. Yes? That is the meaning of it is the self that becomes aware of the self. Yes? If you've not had this experience yet, there is still some charcoal in life you are playing with. Yeah, that charcoal will not let you go deep into your meditation. You'll go deep, you'll manage to go deep, and it'll pull you out. The temptation to play with that charcoal pulls you out again. It's only in your hands to identify, how can I drop this? Yes? You can continue ahead.
Do not look upon this diversity as defect. Do not entertain the feeling that self-knowledge is the result of the teaching of a preceptor. The guru or the preceptor is endowed with the mind and the senses. The self or Brahman is beyond the mind and the senses. That which is attained only after the other ceases is not attained with its help while it still exists. However, though the instructions of a preceptor and all the rest of it are not really the means for the attainment of self-knowledge, they have come to be regarded as the means for. The self is not revealed either by the scriptures or by the instructions of a preceptor, and the self is not revealed without the instructions of a preceptor and without the help of the scripture. It is revealed only when all these come together. It is only when the spiritual knowledge, instructions of a preceptor, and the true discipleship come together that self-knowledge is attained.
This is very important. You think the guru is giving you knowledge, no? You think the scriptures are giving you knowledge. What he's saying, another cannot give you knowledge. I and another. Got it? I and the other. Whenever there is dvaitam, The other cannot give me self-knowledge or self-realization. Self-realization is always out of me, out of I. Yes? So, do not look upon this diversity as the self. This diversity of I and the other, Dvaitam. Do not entertain the feeling that self-knowledge is the result of the teaching of the preceptor. So don't think that if you get enlightened someday, it is because of the Guru or because of the scripture or because of Ekta or because of any other teacher. No. Yeah? He's saying, do not even entertain the feeling that self-knowledge is the result of the teaching of the preceptor. The Guru or the preceptor is endowed with the mind and the senses. The self or Brahman is beyond the mind and the senses. That which is attained only after the other ceases is not attained with its help while it still exists. Yeah, the Guru is in a body, yes, but self-realization is going beyond the body and mind and senses, beyond this entire world. Yes, so that which is a part of this Maya cannot give you self-realization. So don't even regard it as that it is because of that. Why is he telling us this?
Because we start getting attached.
Very good. We get attached and
we also limit ourselves.
Yes, we are limiting ourselves.
Can it be true realization if there's still Dvaitam? Can there be true realization if there's still Dvaitam? If you still have I and the other, you're still not self-realized.
Perfect. That is spot on. Self-realization means what? It is the same self everywhere. Suddenly, the drop of water wakes up and sees, oh, I am the ocean. It cannot see the other drop of water. Right now, you see Guru as a drop of water. You see a scripture, Vasistha, Yoga Vasistha as a drop of water, and you see yourself as an individual drop of water. So this division is there in the mind. The day self-realization happens, the division drops. There is no I, there is no you. Got it? So after that there is no Guru, no preceptor. Everything is one. Yeah. This is very subtle. That which is attained only after the other ceases is not attained with its help while it still exists. Yeah, Guru only explains from that mind-body complex to this mind-body complex, means from that one drop to this one drop. But self-realization is beyond this mind-body complex and beyond that mind-body complex. So till the time that mind-body complex or that drop exists, that cannot explain or help you experience that which is beyond the body and mind and senses. Understood? However, though the instructions of a preceptor and all the rest of it are not really the means for the attainment of self-knowledge, they have come to be regarded as the means for it. It's catch-22. He says, without it you cannot get there, and it is still not the means to get there. Yeah, so if you think, oh, I have a master, I have a guru, and I am reading the scripture, so I am going to get self-realization. Is that true? No, it's not true. Yet, these still aid us on the path. Yeah? Self-realization is purely individual. Yeah? No Dvaitam, nothing from outside can help you realize the self. Nobody. Yeah. Only you. So you might think, Arey, but then the Guru at least made me understand there's something like self-realization. Guruji has spoken this on YouTube also. Even if there are people outside who have never attended the courses with Gurudev, they have heard the word self-realization and ignored it. Big time ignore. Why? Because that capacity, that spiritual quotient has not, reached that point where something like this, that awakening has happened to be able to absorb something like this. Got it? So it has got nothing to do with these external aids that you're getting on this spiritual path. Yeah? It is your own flowering, your own awakening, your own blossoming. Clear? Yet these all are the means. The self is not revealed either by the scriptures or by the instructions of a preceptor. And the self is not revealed without the instructions of a preceptor and without the help of the scripture. Catch 22. Got it, no? It is revealed only when all these come together. And it is only when the scriptural knowledge, instructions of a preceptor, and true discipleship come together. Yeah? So only when that humility comes within you, where you become the disciple, not necessarily of a guru in form. Some people's gurus have, left the form. Yeah? It is just formless. It is just a picture. For some people, guru is a book. The form does not matter. It is that humility, that discipleship, where the I, that ego, which was standing so tall so many lifetimes, is ready to bow down. That is the meaning of discipleship. Got it? You don't have to proclaim that this is my master. Nobody is telling you to do that. But just that I, somewhere that ego bows down. That is one. Second is the instructions of the preceptor and the scriptural knowledge. All have to come together. Yeah? There are many, many people who have got enlightened without any scriptural knowledge. Yeah? So, without having a guru, without any scriptural knowledge, an inner awakening, inner blossoming has happened to them on the path. Yeah? Because their spiritual quotient was so high, and their inner thirst was so high to look for that which is beyond this body-mind complex. Yeah, that also happens after lifetimes of being on the spiritual path. Understand this. So maybe in this lifetime there is no guru or no external source. You cannot see that in this lifetime for them, but probably previous lifetimes these means were there. Something to keep encouraging that person away from Maya was there. Yes, still they are not the means. Got it? Very clear, everybody? Can we move ahead? Okay. You want to read now?
That which is after all the senses have ceased to function and all notions of pleasure and pain have vanished is the self or Shiva, which is also indicated by expressions like that, truth, or reality. However, that which is when all these cease to be exists even when all these are present, like the limitless space. Out of their compassion for the ignorant, deluded ones, in an effort to awaken them spiritually and to awaken in them a thirst for liberation, the redeemers of the universe, known as Brahma, Indra, Rudra, and others, have composed scriptures like the Veda and Purana, the legends. In these scriptures, they have used words like consciousness, Brahman, Shiva, self, Lord, Supreme Self, etc. These words may imply a diversity, but in truth, there is no such diversity. The truth indicated by words like Brahman, etc., is indeed pure consciousness. In relation to it, even the limitless space is as gross and substantial as a great mountain. That pure consciousness appears to be the knowable object and gives rise to the concept of intelligence or consciousness. Though being the innermost self, it is not an object of knowledge. On account of a momentary conceptualization, this pure consciousness gives rise to the ego sense, I know.
Okay. That which is, after all the senses have ceased to function and all notions of pleasure and pain have vanished, is the self or Shiva, which is also indicated by expressions like that, truth, or reality. So we have studied all these words. Soham means I am that. Yeah. So when in many scriptures there are many such Mahavakyas. They are called Mahavakya in Sanskrit. Yeah. Means the highest proclamation of that particular Upanishad. These are in Upanishads. There are 4 Mahavakyas. And all of them mean the same. I am that. Yeah. Tattvam asi. Yeah. You are that. So many scriptures will give different words, but it all means the same. However, that which is, when all these cease to be, exists even when all these are present, like the limitless space. Yeah? What he's trying to say is, whatever names and forms you give to the consciousness, they are all within space. The space is inside them, it's outside them. Yeah? So the Brahman consciousness is like the space. Out of their compassion for the ignorant deluded ones, in an effort to awaken them spiritually and to awaken in them a thirst for liberation, the Redeemers of the universe have composed scriptures like the Vedas and Puranas. Understood why the scriptures have been written? For laymen, for people who are totally lost in Maya. Yeah? So the wise ones thought, what to do with these people lost in Maya? How to help them? Let's create the scriptures. Let's give these names Shiva and Brahman consciousness and soul and self, Atma, Paramatma, etc., etc., etc. So somewhere somebody will pick up some scripture and that thirst for liberation will at least start. At least a little spark will happen somewhere. Got it? In these scriptures, they have used words like consciousness, Brahman, Shiva, self, Lord, Supreme Self, etc. These words may imply a diversity, but in truth, there is no such diversity. The truth indicated by words like Brahman, etc. is indeed pure consciousness. In relation to it, even the limitless space is as gross and as substantial as a great mountain. So though we compare the consciousness to space, it is not equal to space. Because so many scriptures have said that, consciousness is like the space, people have started thinking, this is Brahman consciousness. Again, that is also just, their mind trying to find something easy, something to hook onto. Brahman consciousness cannot even be imagined. It's beyond the capacity of this mind and intellect to even understand what Brahman consciousness is. That is why, just to make you get an idea of something equivalent to it, space has been given as an example. Yeah, but even this space is inside the Brahman consciousness. That pure consciousness appears to be the knowable object and gives rise to the concept of intelligence or consciousness, though being the innermost self. It is not an object of self. On account of a momentary conceptualization, this pure consciousness gives rise to the ego sense. So there is really nothing like the knower, knowledge, and the object of knowledge. This distinction does not exist. Yeah? This is just like a dream. In a dream, you can be flying though you don't have wings. Yeah? So anything can come out of your dreams just like that. Maya is equivalent to dreams. And you are equivalent to the first impulse of creation. So say that first impulse of creation, or that prana, or that vibration in the consciousness is dreaming, and everything comes out of it. Yeah. So it is like that. It came out of it like, how did it come out? The first thing that comes out is ego. Yeah. So you are a complex structure. First, the ego is born. Yeah. So now we'll see, he'll go step by step again to tell us how this ego comes out and what else happens after that. We can continue with page 261. It's a continuation.
The Lord continued, "This ego sense then gives rise to the notions of time and space. Endowed with the energy of the vital air, it then becomes jiva, or the individual. The individual thenceforward follows the dictates of the notions and slips into dense ignorance. Thus is the mind born in conjunction with the ego sense and the different forms of psychological energy. All these together are known as the ativahika body, the subtle body which moves from one plane to another."
Okay. So till now we had learned the subtle body is the mind, and some 50 pages ago he told you it is also called puryastaka. You remember that word? Yeah. Now he is going into dividing the subtle body in details. Yeah. So now he says this ego sense gives rise to the notions of time and space, endowed with the energy of the vital air. So ego plus the vital air. What is the vital air? It's not like this air that you see. Yeah? It is basically the energy principle that comes from prana, that vibration in the consciousness. Yeah? So ego plus this vital air becomes the jiva. So this is equal to jiva. So this becomes the jiva, the individual. Yeah? It's also called the individual. You write individual in bracket. The individual thenceforth follows the dictates of the notions and slips into dense ignorance. This is the mind born in conjunction with the ego and the different forms of psychological energy. So ego plus vital energy is equal to jiva. Jiva plus notions is equal to mind. Yeah. Now, jiva plus notions of the jiva, that equals to the mind. Yeah. Just a notion of I am like this, or I am not like this. Yeah. Or this is this. This is not this. Conditioning started happening at that first moment in the advent of creation. Right when you came out of the pool of consciousness, these notions started coming up, of I and you is the first notion of Dvaitam. So, Jiva plus the notion of Dvaitam is equal to mind. Mind is born. And then after Dvaitam, so many notions. Oh, I am like this, I am separate, you are separate. And whatever notions can come out of that. All these together are called Ativahika body. Yeah? Or the subtle body. So all these, ego plus vital air is equal to Jiva. Jiva plus notions is the mind, or it is equal to Ativahika body. I'm not writing body, you write that body. After this, the substances or the objects of the world corresponding to the subtle energies of the Ativahika body were conceived of. And thus were the various senses, their corresponding objects and their connecting experiences brought into being. These together are known as Puryastaka, and in their subtle state they are also known as the Ativahika body. Yeah. So till here it is Ativahika. Now this Ativahika, for example, you go to sleep and in the night you start imagining something. You imagine a home, that is the object of sight. So then first the sense of sight is born and then the object of sight is born. In your dream. Yeah. Suppose you are dreaming of hearing some sounds, horror sounds. So first the sense of sound is born and then the object of sound is born. Are you getting this? Not the ear, not the eye. We have not reached the birth of the physical body yet. Is this very clear? Yeah. So what is this really? What is born here in the subtle body? We have studied this. Who remembers? The tanmatra of sound, the tanmatra of sight. Do you remember these? Yeah. So now Ativahika plus tanmatras of sight, sound, taste, touch and smell. Yeah. Tanmatras of sight, sound, taste, touch and smell. Put all of them here. These are born out of the Ativahika body. Ativahika body plus the tanmatras give rise to the objects in the dream. Not the real object. Yeah. Just in the mind, the object is born. Object of sight, sound, taste, touch and smell are born. Now all these together is called the Puryastaka. Clear? So the difference between Puryastaka and Ativahika? Who can repeat the whole thing to me? I just want to be sure you got it.
I can. So out of the pool of consciousness, the ego gets born, and the prana in the consciousness or the vital air combined with ego creates a jiva or individual. That individual with the notions creates the mind, which is equal to Ativahika, and that mind starts imagining or sensing the senses, which creates the objects. So they're not physical objects, they're objects of senses. And those are called Puryastaka.
Ativahika body plus the tanmatras of sight, sound, taste, touch and smell plus the objects created out of the tanmatra is equal to Puryastaka. So Puryastaka has the Ativahika body in it. Yes? Perfect. Very good.
I have a question. So when you say the second part, the Puryastaka part, so before even the sense of, before the objects of senses are conceived, you need to have the senses in place, right?
No.
That is what I am trying.
It's a notion. It comes from notions. First notions are there. Because of a notion, slowly tanmatra is born. First there is a notion of wanting to smell. From that, the ability to smell is a tanmatra born in the subtle body. Because of the ability to smell, the object that I want to smell is then born. All in the mind, not yet physical. Yeah, I decided I want to be fire element. Yeah, to come to this understanding, first there was just a notion of I am different and I want to be something warm, something that burns, just a notion. Yes, that's something that is bright. So just that notion of light gave rise to tanmatra of sight. That gives rise to the object of sight. In the mind, everything. And that is the Puryastaka. It says, I want to be fire element. This is literally dissecting the first thought that came to you when you came out of the pool of consciousness. How that first thought came. How that first distinction, I am separate, you are separate. Not in words. It's just a sensation, a feeling, a recognition of I and you. The Dvaitam comes and I want to be something. The first craving comes. Yeah? And that birth of that craving also happens stepwise. Yeah? From just an inclination, from a notion, the tanmatra is born, which will give rise basically to the senses in the physical body in future. And the object of the tanmatra is also first born in the mind, which gives rise to the object in the creation later. He explained this to you in your dreams. You wanted to have pizza all day, but you didn't get a chance to have pizza. Yeah? You went to sleep with the seed of craving for that food. The word pizza doesn't matter when you're sleeping. What matters is that seed of craving is there for that taste. Yeah, so in your dream, first the mouth waters. You don't even have to think the word pizza. The word doesn't come to your head. It's first the mouth waters. First there is a notion born out of that seed, then the mouth waters, then you see the pizza and then you are eating the pizza. There is a sequence of, how chittas work. Those who attended Buddha weekend, there is a stream of chittas. It's not one single thought, one single scene. It is basically separate scenes or whatever, put together. Yeah, what is the right word to say? Many different
sequences.
Sequence of what?
Individual events.
Event bhi nahi hai. The way we used to use that book, the flipper or flicker, whatever it was called. Yeah, just frames is the right word. Many different frames put one after the other. This is the division of the frames. Understood? The first frame is ego, the second frame is the prana, the third frame is the recognition of the jiva, I. The fourth frame is a notion to be something. The fifth frame is the tanmatra, to make, now start having that experience. After it is I, there is you. The you is also an experience, that I want to be fire is you, the other. That's how the Ativahika actually moves from I, this all is I, and this all is other. So Ativahika starts having the sensation of other, and that's where the Tanmatra comes in to experience the other. And then the object, the next frame is the object of wanting to experience that object comes. There is nothing at the beginning of creation. That object then takes birth in the mind first. And that is called the Puryastaka. Yeah.
So this is before the body is even formed.
Yes. Puryastaka is the mother of the physical body. Okay? This is the birth of Puryastaka. Before Puryastaka, he's now taught you Ativahika. He had given you an idea of Puryastaka long back, what it was, and Tanmatras we had done, remember? Yeah? So, he had first explained Tanmatras to us in details. Now he's gone frame by frame. How first the development of I happens, and then the development of you happens in the mind. That recognition itself is broken down into.
So, question, like this is like a deconstruction. Other than an explanation, it feels like through meditation, this is how you would kind of go back, right, to recognizing the source. So, dropping the body means dropping the Puryastaka and going to the I, the Ativahika, and then going backwards. It's really a sequence of going backwards.
Absolutely.
In time.
Yes, absolutely. That's exactly how it will happen. So when you go deeper and deeper in meditation, and many of you have experienced that you've forgotten that you have a body. This first level of experience has happened. This is amongst the first milestones where you lose the awareness that I have this body also. That heaviness of the body sitting on that chair is totally gone. Yeah? You are lost in the thoughts. You're somewhere deep. In the beginning, thoughts are all hovering. They're bothering you. Yeah? You've still not reached that level of Puryastaka. Yeah? You're still stuck in the gross objects which are outside. Their thoughts are inside in the mind. So you're still stuck in physical objects. You slowly come to the Puryastaka level where you start experiencing the silence. There might be thoughts which come and go, but they don't bother you anymore. Yeah? That awareness is still there. I am somebody, I am this person is there. But still there is a certain level of silence that you experience. Then you go deeper, one more level deeper, where totally that other is gone. Other things you cannot hear. Even if there are people walking around, you cannot hear. You cannot see. Obviously your eyes are closed. Even if there is food cooking outside, you cannot smell it. Complete other is gone. There is just an I. Yeah. Then you come to that state where even the I drops. And when you come to that state, that is what he was referring to as external worship. Still external, not internal yet, remember? Yeah. So, abhi Delhi bahut dur hai. Yeah. Start working. If you've not experienced any of these layers, little bit of glimpse also, you have a long way to go. Clear? This is clear? Okay. Can I move ahead?
After this, the substances corresponding to the subtle energies of the Ativahika body were conceived of, and thus were the various senses, sight, touch, hearing, taste, and smell, their corresponding objects and their connecting experiences brought into being. These together are known as the Puryastaka, and in their subtle state they are also known as the Ativahika body.
Yes. So we completed this. Yeah. Now we'll go ahead. Keep reading.
Thus were all these substances created, but nothing was created in fact. All these are but apparent modifications in the one infinite consciousness. Even as dream objects are within oneself, all these are non-different from the infinite consciousness. Even as one dreams those objects, they seem to become the object of one's perception. All these too appear to be objective realities. When the truth concerning them is realized, all these shine as the Lord. However, even that is untrue, for all these have never become material substances or objects. On account of one's own notions of their being substances which one experiences, they appear to have a substantiality. Thus, conjuring up a substantiality, the consciousness sees the substantiality. Conditioned by such notions, it seems to suffer. Conditioning is sorrow, but conditioning is based on thoughts and notions or sensual and psychological experiences. However, the truth is beyond such experiences, and the world is an appearance like a mirage. In that case, what is psychological conditioning? Who conditions what, and who is conditioned by such conditioning? Who drinks the water of the mirage? Thus, when all these are rejected, the reality alone remains, in which there is no conditioning, not conditioned. It may be styled the being or the non-being, but it alone is. Mental conditioning is illusory non-being, like a ghost. When it is laid, the illusions of creation also vanishes. He who takes this ego sense and this mirage known as creation to be real is unfit to be instructed. Perceptors instruct only a man endowed with wisdom, not foolish men. The later pin their faith and hope on the world appearance, like the ignorant man who bestows his daughter in marriage to the man seen only in his dream.
Okay. So, all these substances are thus created, but nothing was created in fact. Yeah? All these are but apparent modifications in the one infinite consciousness. Yes. Just like you dream and you see so many things, yeah, but really there is just one you, and all those do not exist. Like that, all these do not exist. These are all just frames of that dream. Even as dream objects are within oneself, all these are non-different from the infinite consciousness. Even as when one dreams, those objects, they seem to become the object of one's perception. All these too appear to be objective realities. Means just like in your dream, how you think everything to be real, that's how we are seeing this as real frames. Oh yes, this is also the way I think. Yeah? Right now you're also thinking this. No, yes, I also, first I comes, and then that I forms a notion, and then you comes, and then I think you is like this, and then I create the object in my mind. You're thinking that you think like this, aren't you? You think this is also a dream. Yeah. It is all like a dream. Like all this is a part of you. Huh? It is, we are all that part of that one Brahman consciousness. Just a dream. When the truth concerning them is realized, all these shine as the Lord. This is the most important. What happens when you realize the consciousness? What happens when you get enlightened? Yeah? Everything becomes worthy of worship. Everything. You realize, oh, everything is that Lord. Whether it is an ant, whether it is a human, a tree, a board, a marker, a phone, everything is worthy of worship. Everything is Lord. Yeah? Hatred vanishes. You cannot hate. You cannot dislike. How can you dislike your own self? Look within. You might criticize your own self, but really, is there anybody in the world you love as much as you love your own self? Yeah? The answer is no. Plain no. You love yourself the most. Yeah? There is no hatred for yourself. Even if the worst crime you commit, no, inside there is a lot of love for yourself. You say, it's okay. Next time I won't do it. Don't you do that to yourself? Yeah? So exactly that you have, no, that unconditional love for yourself, no, the same thing is a reflection of that Brahman consciousness. When you come to that self-realization or enlightenment, you experience it for everybody and everything. Then nobody is bad. You cannot criticize a terrorist also, or bad person, murderer. Nobody is bad. Nobody. Yeah? That complete love or compassion comes up. Yeah? Because it is that same reflection that you are seeing in your love for your own self. On account of one's own notions of there being substances which one experiences, they appear to have substantiality. I skipped one line. However, even that is untrue, for all these have never become material substances or objects. On the account of one's own notions of there being substances which one experiences, they appear to have a substantiality. Thus, conjuring up a substantiality, the consciousness sees the substantiality. Means what? All these people I told you, you start experiencing that love, that compassion, because you see the oneness, you see a reflection in all of them. Yeah, he's saying, even this is untrue. This is not the ultimate state of enlightenment. This is just that first state, the first step you can say of enlightenment, where you start having love for everything. Yeah? Then you come to a realization where, oh, this is a dream. There is no substantiality in this person. Yeah? Matter does not exist, starts making sense at this level to you. Scientists have also proved this today in laboratories. You would think a scientist should be spiritually evolved, no? He should be on the second step of enlightenment. Yeah? No, but what he experiences through a telescope, through whatever those instruments are, not telescope, whatever his laboratory instruments, his testing, that is not equivalent to self-experience. I think this self-experience is where I go into meditation and I start vibrating and realize, oh, I'm just a ball of vibrations. There is no mass, there is no matter. That self-realization is greater than a laboratory microscope telling me something. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, it is still the other. I and that lab instrument, there is Dvaitam. It is still the other telling me something. It is not my experience. Yes, that is the difference between a scientist who says matter does not exist and a spiritually enlightened person who says matter does not exist. I'm going to ask you this in the exam. And it's not there in the book. सुनाई नहीं दिया. Loudly. Clear नहीं है. Conditioned by such notions, it seems to suffer. Conditioning is sorrow. Now, it seems to suffer. Who's suffering? Who's suffering? It is that Brahman consciousness only. A drop came out of the Brahman consciousness, said I. That I only went through all these frames, became the Ativahika, became the Puryastaka, developed all this conditioning, no? So who's suffering really? It is that Brahman consciousness that is suffering. Yeah? That individual drop that came out of that Brahman consciousness is finally the consciousness itself. So conditioned by such notions, it seems to suffer. Conditioning is sorrow, but conditioning is based on thoughts and notions or sensual and psychological experiences. However, the truth is beyond such experiences and the world is an appearance like a mirage. Yeah. In that case, what is psychological conditioning then? Who conditions what? And who is conditioned by such conditioning? Who drinks the water of the mirage? Thus, when all these are rejected, the reality alone remains in which there is no conditioning, not conditioned. Means there is no Dvaitam. There is not the person who gets conditioned and there is no conditioning, no thoughts. Both do not exist. Both are a part of that dream. It may be styled the being or the non-being, but it alone is. Yeah? It may be called the being or it is called the non-being. Doesn't matter what you call the Brahman consciousness. It alone is. Mental conditioning is illusory non-being, like a ghost. When it is laid, the illusion of creation also vanishes. So, how do you want to get rid of this Maya? What is the way? The only way is to drop the conditioning. There is no other way to get out of the Maya. Yeah? A few years ago, somebody had asked me, can I keep my ragas and dveshas and still get enlightened? What is the answer? No. It is not possible. When you keep your ragas and dveshas, you are going in this direction. When you want to get enlightened, you want to go in this direction. How can you go here and go here? It's like taking one step forward, one step backward, one step forward, one step backwards. You are going to be there only. Yeah? How many of you still experiencing this struggle? You keep taking that one step forward, backward, backward. Homework number 2. You see, are you struggling? Yeah? And what is this conditioning of yours which is the cause of this struggle? One step forward, one step backward. It could be anything. Raga for family, for spouse, for child, for name, fame. Yeah? Dvesha for a person, dvesha for a particular situation. Yeah? Insecurities. It could be so many things. You do some self-introspection. Is this happening to me? One step forward, one step backwards. He who takes this ego sense and this mirage known as creation to be real is unfit to be instructed. Highlight. Homework number 3. Are you fit to be instructed? You check. Yeah. Who is unfit? Somebody who is still taking this Maya as real. Have you started seeing this all as a drama? It's okay, it's all a drama. I just play it like an impeccable role I have to play. That's it. Be a good father, good mother, good child, good friend, good spouse. Yeah, play the role well. But don't get entangled in raga and dvesha, even if it is your own child or your own parent. Just play the role. Are you able to achieve that? You check. Yeah. If you are not able to achieve it, it means you are taking all this, as real. You are lost in Maya and then you are not fit to be instructed. Yes, so Vasistha says, send me an email and drop out of Yoga Vasistha if you're not fit to be instructed. Yeah.
Once in a while it's okay. People fall into it, then Guruji has given us the tools to get out of it.
So if you excuse like this, once in a while, then you're like one step this side, one step this side, one step this
not
side.
most of the time, but you are here playing this drama. Sometimes it happens, but because of the knowledge, you come out of it. It will take some time.
But stop giving yourself excuses. It's been a long time now. It does not have to take any time. Right now, Satori can happen. Depends on your intensity. Till the time you say chalta hai only you will get in life. Till the time you say, till the day, you don't say like, this is it. No more excuses. Then you see how you go ahead at rocket speed. You have to just make up your mind and let go of that raga or dvesha once and for all. You can't say once in a while I will pick up the cigarette and smoke. No, once in a while. To drop that addiction, you have to drop it forever, no? Same with alcohol. To say you are a pure non-alcoholic, not occasional, non-alcoholic, totally. You have to completely drop it for once and for all. Like that only, that particular raga or dvesha, you cannot have occasional puff or occasional peg. Nahi chalega. Then lukewarm results you're going to get in life. Yes, this path is all about 100% commitment. The day you are ready to drop that and then go through the withdrawal effects, you'll have severe withdrawal effects. I'll tell you that. Getting away from any raga or any dvesha, especially if it is a relationship, it is the most difficult. The biggest problem for people usually are two. One is money, one is relationship. There are two major issues, biggest ragas that people cannot let go. This is what will pull you back on the path. Yeah? You have to have the courage to let go once and for all. And then never look back. Yeah? So you think, yes, ye chalta hai, once in a while, no chalta hai attitude anymore. There's no appropriate translation to English for chalta hai attitude. Give me one word so that people...
Leniency.
Yeah,
Lenient.
excusing yourself. Yeah, that once I can do this, that is chalta hai attitude. No. No means no looking back towards that raga or that dvesha. Yeah, and then having the courage to go through that withdrawal phase. That's going to be severe. Yeah, but once you reach the other side of this withdrawal phase, that freedom that you experience is amazing. It's just amazing. Yeah. So start working on yourself. Enough of chalta hai attitude. Enough of excusing yourself. Yeah. No more. Yeah. Preceptors instruct only a man endowed with wisdom, not foolish men. Yeah, foolish men are just lost in their raga or dvesha. Yeah, if you have to be wise, you have to let it go once and for all. The latter pin their faith and hope on the world appearance, like the ignorant man who bestows his daughter in marriage to the man seen only in his dream. Such an appropriate example, no? Yeah? You think in your mind that this person is like this and like this kind of a person he is, and he'll take care of my daughter. And then you get him married to your daughter, thinking in your mind that he is like this. Ignorance this is. Yeah? Drop these notions. Huh.
So he says the whole existence is an illusion. Just see it as an illusion.
Yes.
Just see the whole thing as an illusion and just drop it.
Yes, absolutely. Everything is an illusion. Yeah, stop being lost in this Maya. Maya of people, Maya of situations, Maya of things. When the older you get, you start Maya of this body. Oh, my body should be healthy. This is another Maya we get caught up in. Oh, I could not run as much as I could run 10 years ago. Or I cannot work as much as I could 10 years ago. Yeah? Or if you're getting older, you're probably not getting the job of your dreams, not getting that promotion. Yeah? What I could do some few years ago, now I'm not getting. This old age starts eating you slowly, slowly. Observe that also. Yeah? Most of you are reaching the mid age, and you will realize this happening slowly to you. Yeah? New ragas come as you progress, as you move on in this life. Yeah? You should have the courage to drop all. Open your fists and walk. So what? What can you take from open fists? Yeah? Take. If your fists are closed like this, you're the one who's stressed. You're walking like this. Yeah, walk like this. What can you take from me? My fists are open anyways. Yeah? Think about this. Per Vasistha's definition, are you fit to be instructed? Okay, and do your homework seriously. Yeah? Send me your answers. That way at least you will be serious. You don't send me your answers. I send you homework every week now. I don't see answers coming from anybody. Yeah? So send me your answers. Okay? Any questions before we end? All good? Take it. Chalo. I'll see you next week. Jai Gurudev.